And we're live. Hello and welcome to the 108th episode of HEX Therapy Live. I'm your host, Maddie ALLin. Both Bitcoin and HEX have both been called scams since they were first invented. And the question is, can you tell the difference of what is the difference between a scam, between Bitcoin, and between HEX? That's what we're going to be looking at today. And maybe you think you already know the answer to the question, but as somebody who has studied HEX for so long, I think I might be able to give you some unique insights today into my thinking on the matter. So it's going to be a great episode. Go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button now. We're in the middle of a brutal bear market, and yet it seems like so many people are tuning in. It's definitely worth sticking around. So thanks for being here, and here's the intro.
It's from Maddie ALLin of HexTherapyLive. I like Maddie. Maddie tries to make the world a healthier place. He's a mental health professional. He's done research.
Videos on sudden wealth syndrome.
There's nothing that a human being could do better than try and heal his fellow man.
Maddie ALLin's got that covered. He does emotional, feel-good, mind management, emotion stuff, like, as his gig, because he's a therapist. That's what he does for a living. Like, he helps heal people.
All right, so here we are. I'm in a little bit of a different studio setup today, so hopefully everything runs smoothly, but here we are. Shout out to everybody watching live and on the replay. Thanks for being here. Happy holidays. You may have seen the DJ Cryptomatic live stream from earlier today, where there were many, many people in HEX who were wishing each other happy holidays. So 'tis the season. But today what we're looking at is how well people can formulate the argument that HEX is not a scam, or that Bitcoin is not a scam. And to do that, we have to I think, really deeply consider what it means. What is the difference between a Ponzi scheme and something that is not a Ponzi, right? And so I think the biggest question that you have to ask yourself when you're trying to differentiate between these, and I'll give some examples of both. I think the biggest thing that you need to look at to differentiate is to ask yourself, is there fraud occurring, right? With FTX, there was fraud occurring. That's a form of scam. That's a form of Ponzi. And different people at different technical levels will understand what happened with the $8 billion FTX collapse differently. If I'm explaining it to my mom, I'm going to explain it a little bit differently than I would to somebody who's been studying cryptocurrency for quite some time. And so there are people at all different levels of understanding, and hopefully we can break it down in a way that everybody can understand. But basically, what happened with FTX is shrouded in complexity, but at the end of the day, Sam Bankman-Fried, who just today posted bail, controversially so, I should say, he's being investigated for lots of different counts of fraud and scam and malfeasance. So the thing that FTX was doing is they were trading with customer funds. So they took money that wasn't theirs. They led people to believe that their funds could be withdrawn at any time, and they were promoting themselves as a type of bank. There was really more of a trading platform. So that's closer to a casino than what a bank is. But they certainly invested a lot of money in advertising to convince people through celebrity deals with Tom Brady and Kevin O'Leary, trying to convince people that they were trustworthy. When in reality, FTX had very little to do with crypto other than pretending to be a crypto. When people use centralized exchanges, they aren't taking control of their own funds. And that's the whole point of crypto, is to take control of your own funds. And that's something we see in HEX is one of the prerequisites almost, because HEX is not traded primarily on centralized exchanges. And so in some ways, HEX has taught a lot of people to take custody of their own funds and to not be scammed by centralized exchanges like FTX, like Celsius that collapsed earlier, like Three Arrows Capital that was also engaged in hedge fund shenanigans. And so what is it that people generally point to other than these scams that are pretty well reported in the news right now, FTX? Well, other people refer to a scam as being something where they lost money. And while it's true that in a scam, people do lose money, people can lose money in all sorts of ways. An author that I had on the channel a couple days ago pointed out that something like 90 or 95% of small businesses fail. And so that's a really good way to lose money. But that doesn't mean that starting a small business is a scam necessarily. It's not a blanket statement. So what else? So HEX, what HEX is doing is it's using a smart contract to, in some ways, guarantee that if you time lock your HEX, then you'll get paid the inflation as a reward for not selling. And that seems to be pretty transparent. And it seems to be a promise that can always be fulfilled by the HEX smart contract, based on the assumptions that we can make about any cryptocurrency functioning. HEX seems to be doing a great job of what it was designed to do. And that's pretty remarkable. Now, I think where people get a little bit confused is that they think, and certainly I got confused at times, was being able to understand that you actually don't need any new money coming into HEX in order to fulfill the reward to the people who are time locking. And so that point alone, it deserves a little bit of exploration, I think, because it's something that I didn't fully grasp how profound it was when I was first studying crypto and economics. And again, I think it's a way that some people go horribly wrong in misunderstanding HEX as a Ponzi scheme. So in a Ponzi scheme, you need new buyers, and the amount of new buyers that you need grows exponentially, and it's not just based on supply and demand, because there is no underlying product. In HEX, the underlying product is being able to time lock your cryptocurrency, and that's a form of self-regulation. It's a form of paying your future self. It's attractive to people that they have found something where, without a middleman, without a third party, they can control their own savings plan. And so that's something innovative that's never existed before. Now, even if we did the thought experiment where we said that no new buyers ever came into HEX, HEX would continue to operate as those who are currently participating, how we understand it to operate. However, a Ponzi scheme would not continue to operate because it wouldn't make good on any guarantees that it's made, because it is fraudulent. It does not, a Ponzi would be promising returns that are unachievable because the returns are based on a lie. HEX is not based on a lie. HEX is verifiable on the blockchain, and it's almost shocking how innovative HEX is and how mischaracterized it is, right? Because blockchain firms have done audits on HEX. There's been public discourse about it. Many of the people who talk about HEX because they love it so much get confused as promoters, get confused as paid promoters. For example, I've now been looked into by the SEC, which I can't say that I was happy to do, but I stand behind my, all of my crypto addresses can, they can be investigated, and will show that I've never been paid to promote HEX by the founder, and that, that I'm doing this because I'm an enthusiast, because I'm a fan. It's really incredible to me when it's so common in crypto YouTube for people to be paid to promote. It really means something, I think, when people choose to talk about something enthusiastically for multiple years without getting paid, and in fact choose to not sell out. I mean, that's quite something these days, if I do say so myself. And so so really it's as simple as not needing new buyers. Now, that could be particularly confusing for people because the blockchain can't be shut down, and so it's not like you could stop new buyers from buying. And certainly we see that even as the price of HEX has gone down, more and more people are accumulating, and the numbers just keep growing even during a bear market when the rest of crypto has stagnated. So people are continuing to find the truth out about HEX, that it's not a scam. They're continuing to do their own critical thinking and to make their own decisions. I'm really proud to be in something like HEX that allows people who maybe had a history of trading and harming themselves by not being able to stick with something. People can volunteer to participate in HEX in a way that allows them to stop trading and to still have exposure to cryptocurrency in a way that they choose, on a time frame that they choose. The gains in HEX come from its utility and come from its market value, the supply and demand factor that we know is so transparent. It's got an A rating on nomics.com. HEX does. There are lots of other coins on there that don't have transparent trading volume. Means which means to me that the other crypto coins have a much higher likelihood of being manipulated. So when I look at HEX, I see something that is not having paid people stand up and talk about it, is having full transparent volume, is able to deliver on its value proposition because of a smart contract, and because it's not designed like a Ponzi. There are lots of things that, there are lots of ways that cryptos can get nailed down one way or another as going against the law, but I don't believe that there are any ways in which HEX goes against the law. And I'd be happy to hear if anybody can think of any. Most of the criticism that we see against HEX comes from people who are very uninformed, who have a lot to lose if their alternative thing is not adopted more. And it's really kind of ironic, because the worse that the HEX price performs in the short term, the more benefit it can give to long-term people who want to play the game, who want to participate. People are allowed to use money in all kinds of ways, and one way is to buy some crypto and time lock it. And I think again, that's pretty cool, because it starts to, for me, and what I've explored in this show is how does it change my relationship with my future self when I in some ways kind of sacrifice with a time lock where I've effectively burned the coins. And different protocols are starting to pick up on that value proposition. but I haven't seen any that are picking up on it better than HEX, because it seems like the more people who try to copy HEX, the more they get something that doesn't do as well, or doesn't have the things that I believe cause HEX to make it do so well. So at the end of the day, it's really, it is about community. It is about people standing up and being the voice of something that is not meant to be centralized. And I think, the origin address, that's there's a lot of FUD around that. There's a lot of misinformation. I think that there is some legitimate criticism there, but the idea that people have been criticizing HEX since day one, since before HEX launched, and so some of the arguments are probably starting to fall by the wayside. That the origin address is going to dump all of its coins, or that it did at some point. I don't see that on the blockchain, and so how long are you going to wait until you stop considering that, or maybe you keep considering that. I mean maybe that's the valid criticism, that somebody doesn't want to own something that it has a large percent of the supply owned by somebody else. But that in and of itself doesn't make it a scam. The amount of liquidity that HEX has would not even make game theory sense for the origin address to dump. Why would you kill something if you're the majority holder in it? When we do thought experiments of how somebody would sell if they were a majority holder in any coin, you would I don't think that there's any easy way to get out of a large position like that. And so if the origin address didn't rug pull when there was $30 million of liquidity in the USDC HEX liquidity pool back at the all-time high, a year and a half ago, then why would the origin address rug pull now when the liquidity pool is probably closer to 3 million? Who knows? I mean, I can't say one way or another. This is not financial advice. I'm simply using my free speech to explain my understanding of cryptocurrency, which I think is a important asset class because it gives people sovereignty over their money. It is a form of digital scarcity and allows people to transact in in whatever way they choose, whether that is sending money to your future self or speculating on price. I think, but again, to just go back to the Ponzi argument, a Ponzi scheme is something that lies about where the yield is coming from, and that has unsustainable tokenomics. And so that's why it's so impressive to me whenever somebody tries to paint it as a scam, because they must have a really low understanding of what a scam is. Let me check in with the chat here because I've been talking for about 20 minutes. Shout out to everybody. Thanks for being here. Happy holidays again. For some reason, I am blowing through my battery speed. McSlammin, Merry Xmas, Maddie. Hey, thanks. Appreciate it. Thanks for all the content this year. My pleasure. Trevor Hansen, scam sharks dumping price. Maybe, but they earned that position. Yeah. People who are playing a long-term game are not worried about short-term price, are they? Hex Glenn, Justo, good to see you there. Jerry, the notification worked for you. Great. I'm glad to hear it. Sam Hex in SB. Hi, all. Just starting a 2.5-hour drive home from Bakersfield. Glad to have shows to listen in on. I'm glad as well. I tend to listen to a lot of Hex content. And by the way, abit_hex had a great stream yesterday. People should check it out. He also addressed issues of FUD. What's up, Earthling? Jerry says the series of events in regards to FTX are suspicious. He begged to go to the US. Now he's out on bail. Christopher Davis, hey, thanks for being a member. I really appreciate it. Happy holidays, everyone. Happy holidays to you as well. Free Speech says, Merry Christmas, all. Can't wait for the next bull market. Sand Dip says, Merry Christmas, Maddie. Thanks. Now, I also want to talk about the upcoming HEX conference, which is going to be happening January 6th through 9th. In the evenings, it'll be a 4-night event. The last day, we will have Richard Hart, founder of HEX himself, live. And I've been putting together the schedule. I'm super excited. If you want to be a speaker, you need to speak up now and go find my Twitter post and comment there. If you're wanting to keep up to speed on what's going on with the conference, you can definitely go to t.me/HEX conference. You can go to hexconference.com. You can go to twitter.com/HEX conference. And those are the places where I'm posting information. We've got over 50 speakers now who have signed up. I sent out about 150, 160 invites, mostly people who have already been on my channel. And I'll be following up with people as well, so I can make sure everybody got the message. So if you've been on the channel before, make sure to check your messages from me on Telegram and Twitter from the handle at MattyAllin, MattiAllin. So there it is. And then, yeah, so we'll have a combination of panels, individual talks, keynotes, and socials. That'll be really exciting. And I just can't wait to get everybody together. It's a huge honor to be putting together the schedule and to be, I put out a survey to all the people who are agreeing to be speakers, and that allows people to sign up for topics and to say which format works best for them and to explain what the best way is to reach you. So yeah, definitely something to look forward to. So that'll be a 4-day event, and I can't wait to release more details here probably in the next week. Let's see. And then the other thing I've been working tirelessly on is my blockchain product called Time Pays Me, which will be a way for people to time lock Pulse Chain and Pulse X tokens. In fact, you'll be able to time lock any ERC or PRC20 token. And we're hoping to launch before the HEX conference, which will be in just a couple weeks here. And so we've been beating up the private testnet and trying to make our final decisions before launching this decentralized application. Time Pays Me will allow you to time lock in between 0 and 55 years, and then it'll drip back to you based on the amount of time that you've served. And we think that is going to be a really exciting product for people who maybe aren't ready for HEX, and they want to understand what the deal is with time locking, even if there is no yield. And then also people who appreciate that the highest yield of all comes from picking the right thing and then being able to hold through the massive ups and downs that certainly characterize cryptocurrency in the past. So the Hexagon contractor. Hey, Maddie, good to see you, bro. Likewise. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Let's see. So yeah, so for Time Pays Me, we're also working on a recovery method that people can set up ahead of time. In case you get hacked, you can transfer ownership of the vault, and then also working on a dead man timer so that you can have a plan for your inheritance as well. So those will both probably be optional features that people can set, but the guts of it is being able to time lock any ERC or PRC20 for 0 to 55 years, and then be able to withdraw from the drip every week. So I'm certainly staying busy with all these endeavors. I'm still recovering from a serious car accident, and so I got a little bit of good news from the doctor about my 2 broken collarbones starting to heal, but still not able to perform normal tasks yet, and extremely grateful for all the people who are supporting me. So that's been another thing keeping me busy. The Midwest here is under siege by a snowstorm, so that's pretty exciting. Lots of people battening down the hatches to be able to survive some major cold and snow and ice. So make sure to stay safe out there, and wear your seatbelt, of course. And yeah, I'm really excited to be building in a bear market. I'm really excited that people are still tuning in, that in some ways, building in a bear and being a fan of something in a bear is a much better situation to be in. I like buying things at 95% off. I like being patient. I like being back into the grind of trying to save money and be extra responsible with delaying gratification. So it's, in some ways it's a healthier time if you're not gambling away your money, and if you're not taking too short term of a mindset. And it's nice when the price of everything goes up so much that nothing seems to matter. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether you become suddenly wealthy or whether you have financial hardship. Either way, life isn't perfect, and it takes that's the point of the show. Hex Therapy is to give people perspective and encouragement, to remind you that to take care of yourself, use self-care and self-esteem, and do everything that you can to take care of your physical health, your mental health. Try to get your behaviors under control, which might involve sleeping more, getting more exercise, eating healthier, whatever the behavior change is that you're most interested in. The thing I've related all that to is that delaying gratification on the blockchain is a similar behavior. It might be correlated in some way. I don't know if it causes people to be healthier, but I definitely see a qualitative connection there, and it's something that I'm excited to explore more as we move through time, and we all get to experience and imagine how our lives might be differently if we didn't have time locking. I know if I didn't have time locking, I would not have done as well in crypto, because I would have kept rotating to the next thing because I like learning so much. I would have kept learning about things that maybe weren't as good for me as the one thing that I mastered. And so that's another part of the struggle, I guess, of some people's psychology is you have to stay entertained, you have to stay informed, you want to keep learning. And how do you do that in a space where you have a finished product like HEX? And the way I've addressed that is by doing community building and volunteering and trying to pay forward the education that I got. So that's another reason why I make myself available on live streams twice a week for 108 weeks straight now. So hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully people ask questions when they have them. Good evening, all. First bear market and loving the discount. Good for you. Dat body mechanic, same. Crispy man, perfect posture. Good to hear. Well, and I can't move around very much because of my broken collarbones. So whatever posture I'm in, hope it works. Amen. Lord, help us. If I only had the funds to do DCA, nice. Yeah, exactly. That's another reason why I'm making Time Pays Me, is to make dollar cost averaging into things easier and out of things easier. And so the way that I might use that feature would be to time lock USDC or DAI, a stable coin, maybe for 6 months if I had well, even let's say, even if, let's say I got personal injury money, or I won the lottery, or I had saved money in dollars that I wanted to put back into crypto, what I could do is I could time lock those sums of money that I didn't trust myself with. I could time lock those so that every week I could take some money out and put it into whatever I wanted to buy. Now, hopefully the thing I wanted to buy would stay the same, but I would have a different sort of flexibility than I would trying to hold on to liquid coins and having to decide every moment to not put that into something else. I could spread out my decision over time, basically, and that might be advantageous for some people. Hex to $5, then 10, then 100. Believe, let's go, hold strong. If you guys didn't see the episode that we did on Tuesday night for Game Theory Gang, it's a must watch. I rewatched it myself because there was so much good commentary, and I really enjoyed having Mark Wild on. He's the author of The Second Crypto Revolution, and definitely a book that everybody should check out, and a brilliant guest. So yeah. So Crypto Dave, I have the same thought as you. Time locking Ethereum and USDC would help me dollar cost average into HEX more regularly. Exactly. Yeah. So the Game Theory Gang episode was 2.5 hours from Tuesday, and it was all great content. Make sure to check that episode out if you haven't yet. And I think I'm going to have to keep this one pretty short because of my charger situation. But nevertheless, here we are. You can definitely congratulate yourself if you're still here after a 95% dip, and you're still interested in understanding, is HEX a scam? No. Things can go up and down a lot, especially in crypto. Bitcoin and Ethereum have both been called scams and then seemingly been exonerated. And so if you do believe in a use case for digital scarcity and self-sovereignty, then it also makes a lot of sense, I think, that the time locking as the primary function of money as a store of value, that would make a lot of sense to people. And of course, a Ponzi is something that promises to pay something that it can't. And in HEX, it's quite the opposite. HEX only promises to pay what it can, and the system is dynamic in a way where you've got a willing buyer, a willing seller, and a willing staker all at the same time. So that body mechanic was nice to catch one of your streams live, mate. Good health to you. Well, thanks. Yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Thanks for being here, everybody. If I get the HEX schedule, if I get the hexconference.com schedule done this weekend, then I might go live again to talk about that. But if not, definitely Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I'll see you all back on Tuesday night for sure for Game Theory Gang. So with that being said, let's see. With that being said, stake wisely, my friends, and peace out.
It's from Maddie ALLin of HexTherapyLive. I like Maddie. Maddie tries to make the world a healthier place. He's a mental health professional. He's done research, big
videos on sudden wealth syndrome.
There's nothing that a human being can do better than try and heal his fellow man.
Maddie Allen's got that covered. Does emotional, feel good, mind management, emotion stuff like as his gig because he's a therapist. That's what he does for a living. Like he helps heal people.